Hello guys, welcome to my space. How are you all doing? Happy New Year. I saw a post on Instagram that said this is the only year that has one at the end. WON. Won. We won last year. We conquered, we overcame, and we made it to the new year. So happy new year, guys. Congratulations on winning. Let us go through this year celebrating the small wins. The smallest wins are worth celebrating. So let's go through this year, keep on winning every day, and celebrate those winnings. How are you all doing though? I hope you guys are doing good and having a fantastic start for the blank page. And today we're going to be talking about being an au pair during the pandemic, the requirements of being an au pair in the Netherlands, the agency that I used, and what to expect. All the things I'm going to be talking about today are based on my experience. It's just what I think. It's my opinion. So it is not the basis. It's not a ruler. So it's just my opinion. So don't judge me. No, I'm just putting it out there. Anyways, before I get into it, I really want to start off by saying thank you so much, guys. We're about to hit 80 subscribers. You don't know how much that means to me. I did not expect to have so many subscribers at this point. It's not 1 million, but it's not one. So 80 is a lot. So I'm really grateful. Thank you all for subscribing to my channel, for leaving comments in the comment section, for liking and sharing the video. I am really grateful. And that is a win worth celebrating. 2021, baby. Let's get into it. Being an au pair during the pandemic. It's good that I mentioned on my previous video that you have to be prepared mentally and emotionally, because this is a very trying season and it requires you to be stable. Make sure you know yourself. Make sure you are able to stand up for yourself. Make sure you are emotionally stable, because if you're not, you're going to be tried and you might burn out. So prepare, especially if you want to be an au pair in this season. Prepare. You will need it. My time as an au pair, or my experience as an au pair during the pandemic, has not been the greatest in terms of travel and adventure exploring, because I had hoped I would see other countries in Europe. So that's a disappointment. But in terms of being alone, I found that it's a good time to discover yourself. It's a good time to grow as an individual, because when you're in isolation, you have time to reflect, you have time to be with yourself. So that gives you a chance to learn who you are, what you like, what you're into, etc. So it's not been a trying time for me. It's not been super difficult. I've always been the kind of girl that likes spending time alone, especially when I was studying. I enjoyed spending time alone. I did not mind being in the room all weekend by myself. So right now, I really don't find it difficult. But one thing that I have been forced to learn is to get out of my comfort zone, because it's the first point of what to expect in the Netherlands. People here are very free, but not just free, but they enjoy company. They are very social. Yeah, that's the right word. People out here are very social. The word they usually use for such moments is gezelligheid. That's when they're in a company of people enjoying a good meal, having a couple of drinks, and just having a good time, being social, being in a company of people they love. So the people out here are really social, and if you're an introvert and you like spending time alone, you would be required to get out of that comfort zone, because it might appear as if you don't want to be part of the family if you don't mingle with everyone, or if you don't, spend time with your host family, for instance. So yeah, that's one thing I had to learn, and it's one thing I'm still learning. I'm not perfect, neither am I there. It's a process, and I've had to push myself out of that comfort zone of wanting to always be alone or left alone, etc. So yeah, make sure you are stable, and make sure you allow yourself to be integrated, or allow yourself to embrace the culture. Don't just fall back to your habits, but be flexible enough to create new habits. I think that's the cultural aspect of it, that you have to be flexible to create new habits, and to let go of your old habits. So yeah, that has been my experience as an au pair during the pandemic. It's not been the easiest, but it's also not been the hardest. So I know a lot of au pairs that I've met, because I have a platform on Instagram where I interview au pairs about whole au pair experience, and ask them questions that are submitted by those wanting to become au pairs. And one thing that a lot of them mentioned was that they are not having a good time because they can't tick off the goals that they set for this year. When I came here, I did not have a lot of expectations. Obviously, I wanted to travel, but I did not have a list of expectations. But I know most girls or guys come out here have with lots of expectations. So them not being able to tick them was a really it was a disappointment, great disappointment. So I'm just putting it out there that don't expect to be traveling and exploring during this time, because it's not the time to be doing such things. But obviously, when borders open and everything is at ease, then you will be able to do that. But don't come here with that expectation. You might get disappointment. You might get disappointed. I'm not saying you will get disappointed, but just be prepared. That's all I'm saying. The requirements of being an au pair in the Netherlands: you have to know how to ride the bike. Having a driver's license is not a necessity, because you might not drive. You could drive depending on the family you're with, but most au pairs use the buck feet and the bike. So going from point A to point B, you'll be using the bicycle. Make sure you know how to ride the bicycle. That is a requirement. And then you need an unabridged birth certificate. My journey of getting the unabridged birth certificate, guys, it was just... But we're not talking about that right now. Make sure you have your unabridged birth certificate, because Home Affairs in South Africa is not... Home Affairs is Home Affairs. We all know Home Affairs. So just make sure you apply for your unabridged birth certificate in time. Make sure you also have a budget. When you start your application, be sure to have a budget for all the costs required, whether mentioned on the agency's website or not. Be sure to have a budget that will cover all the costs involved in becoming an au pair. So for you to know how much you need, you obviously need to do your research, and be sure to have that money at hand, when you start your application process, so that you don't get shocked when other costs come along and all those kind of things. The agency that I used is OVC. OVC partners with HBN in the Netherlands. I don't know what the abbreviations stand for, but OVC in South Africa and HBN in the Netherlands. So when you're in South Africa, you communicate with OVC, apply through OVC. When you arrive in the Netherlands, HBN is the one that takes care of you. So if you have any problems or have any questions, you contact HBN. So that is the agency that I used. I know a couple of you have been asking, so I just wanted to answer it here, finish and clear. Then the things that you would expect here in the Netherlands: it rains a lot. Not a lot, but it does rain. So be sure to have waterproof attire, like have rain boots, have a raincoat, because people do use umbrellas obviously when it's pouring, but I mean, if you're going to be riding the bike, you will not need the umbrella, especially if it's the back feet. So make sure you have like your rain raincoat, rain pant, waterproof pants, and the rain boots. I don't remember what that suit is called, but I guess the waterproof suit that you can wear so that you don't get soaking wet when you're cycling with the kids. I know the back feet have this protective thingy. I don't know what they call it, but it's like an umbrella covering thingy. So the kids obviously won't get wet, but you will be cycling, so you have to have something that will prevent you from getting wet, stop you from getting wet. And then another thing to expect is that the people out here, like I said, I had to get out of my comfort zone. People out here are very social, so learn to communicate. One important thing that a lot of au pairs told me, especially those who are about to finish their au pair year, one thing they've always told me, even during the interviews that I do on the live sessions on Instagram, they tell me that I need to learn to say no. This meant that not say no every time to everything and be rude, 1, 2, 3, but learn to stand up for what you want. If you don't want to do something, say it. If you want to do something, yeah, do it. But if you don't want to do it, don't keep quiet. In as much as you feel like you owe your host family something for them having you here, they also need you, you know? You are here to look after their kids, therefore they need you. So it's not just a one-sided relationship. It's a give and take, like you both giving something to each other. So don't be afraid to voice what you're feeling. Don't be afraid to voice your needs. Don't be afraid to just stand up for yourself. That's basically what I'm trying to say. That's what a lot of au pairs have been telling me, because they do not have a good time. A couple of them mentioned that they did not have a good time because they were not able to say no and stand up for themselves. And at some point they were taken advantage of because they could not that extreme. Like, I mean, say for instance, if one time you were asked to do something and you said yes, like if you're asked to look after the kids for 2 hours, so the next time you're asked again, and it's sometimes on days when you are free. So at some point it then becomes a habit, and because it's now a habit, it's so hard to now say no because it's now become a habit, you know. So be sure to stand up for yourself and to say when you're not comfortable with doing something. And then another thing that I wanted to mention is that people say Dutch people are direct, but at some point it appears as rudeness rather than directness. I know a couple of you might disagree, but I've met an English person last month, yeah. And that man was very direct. He was direct. He was the definition of directness. But my encounter with that man made me question the thing that people say about Dutch people. The reason why I'm saying this is that when I spoke to that man, he got his point across in a very direct way. And in comparison to a couple of Dutch people that I've met, it seemed as if they were more rude rather than direct. I'm saying this because I could not get what the point was. All I got was, the rudeness. So it made me think, when they say they're direct, What do they mean? Obviously, not everyone is like that. Um, Obviously, you do meet people that are able to get their points across in a very friendly way, and you do meet people who are able to get their points across in a very rude way. But you also do meet people who do not get their points across but think they are getting their point across, yet they're just being plain rude. So be sure to have that at the back of your head, that when you are in a certain situation, don't allow yourself to be blown by the wind, or to be like kidding. I don't know what the word is in English, but don't allow yourself to just be, you know. Listen, pay attention, so that you know if you're being addressed in a good way. I don't know. Yeah, like, don't allow yourself to be disrespected. Let me just put it like that. Like, learn to pay attention, so that you know if you're talking to someone, you gotta know whether this person is getting their point across or just being plain rude. So yeah, that's one thing that I've gathered, that you guys gotta keep in mind. And then yeah, I guess other things you guys will just see when you get here. But I mean, if you have any other questions, just leave them in the comment section and I'll just answer them, or maybe I'll record another video. But just to keep this one very short, I'll leave it at that. I'm not gonna say it's part one, because I know I said it in the other video, and I don't know if a part two came. I don't think there was a part two, so I'm just gonna leave this one at this. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section. But guys, being an au pair during the pandemic is not the easiest time, but it is what it is. So it's been really amazing, because I've met amazing people, I've done amazing things, I made friends. It's been a beautiful time. I think I've been here for 5 months now, and I've got no regrets. So yeah, guys, just prepare yourselves, and don't get to a point where you're in a burnout and you questioning whether you made the right decision of coming here. Be sure to do your research before coming here, and make sure you're making the right decision for yourself and for your future. So yeah, have a beautiful day, guys. Have a beautiful week. This year is just so beautiful. Celebrate those wins, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.